G'day all, welcome back to Built by Chris. In this episode I'm going to show you how I made one of these. This is a cupboard with drawers that's going into a walk-in robe. I just want to show you the steps that I take to put one of these things together, the jigs that I've come up with that help align everything for me, make life a lot easier, and just to show you how to put it together. Now they are fairly simple construction. There's no tenon joinery in this one. There's all pocket holes. But it is very time consuming to put one of these together. So if you want to see how it all comes together, follow me and I'll show you how easy it is. Right, the first thing I'm going to do, here's the cabinet side. I'm going to put all the pieces that I need for this cabinet side on here now before I start putting it all together. Now, these are the two bottom braces that I need. So one of them, as you can see, this wide edging here, this one's going to go this way on here, so I've got a pocket hole screw that down, and this one's going to go at the back. These are what I'm going to use to attach the cabinet to the floor of the walk-in robe. So to that end, I've got a couple of parallel clamps. I'm going to clamp this little piece down so that it's exactly this thickness or this size from there, so it doesn't move. Because as you know, pocket holes tend to slide when you use them. So let me set that up. So what I'll use the piece itself, and I'll make sure it's flush with the bottom, and I'll push this up to this, and I'll clamp it down. That way it's not going to move on me. Okay, now I get my little hammer and start tapping it all until it's flush. Once I've got it flush, which is what it is now, I'll crank down on these so it doesn't move at all. These parallel clamps are fantastic. Still flush, still flush. Okay, so now I get my piece. Make sure the edge banding matches with the edge banding here. And that's how I'm going to screw it in. Okay, there's the first two pieces on. I'll take these clamps and everything off now. Still flush, which is good. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the drawer slides on here. And I've made a couple of jigs for myself to help me space them properly. So let me get all that ready and I'll show you how I go about that process. Okay, next part of this little process is I've got to put all the drawer slides on the side of the cabinet. This is going to be the inside, obviously. Here's my drawer slide. I've got a spacer block put in to space it off the bottom of the cabinet because I don't want these to be right down on the bottom. So the first thing I do is I've got to pull these drawer slides apart. So it's just a quick little clip in there. You just undo that and it comes apart. And that fits here. Now I've got to make sure that it's the correct distance from the front of the cabinet because the drawer fronts are inset. They're inset. So I need this to be 16mm inset. Now the way I've done that is I've made myself a really cheap and nasty jig here. It references the front of the cabinet, references the front of the cabinet here. I push that in as far as it'll go, and it just sandwiches this drawer slide in here, and I just push the drawer slide forward until it touches that. This is 16 mil, so I know it's going to be exactly the 16 mil that I need. So once I've got all that in place, I'll drop a screw into it. There we go, first screw there. Just move this out the way a little bit. Then I'll put one in the back. And I'll put one at the front. Okay, so there's the first one in. I could pop this back in here if I want to. And there it is, that's the first drawer slide is in. Now, I leave this where it is. I get my next drawer slide. Again, I've got to take this part off. So there's just the clip. Clip it down, it slides out. And I butt it up to here. So it's a two-sided thing. So now I know the spacing from the top of this one to the top of this one is going to be the same all the way down. This is how my little jig works. So I've got that in place. Grab another screw. And pop a screw in here. Then I'll just move my jig forward a little bit, access the back hole. Now I can take my jig out. And that's the second one in. So let's just pop this back in so I don't lose it. Now I get my jig in again. It references this one. And I can put my third drawer slide in here. Okay, the next step is I've got to put this on. This is the top of these drawers. I've got to work out where I've got to put it in relation to where the top drawer is going to be. So as you can probably see, you may not be able to see, but I've already got two of them made up, so I know I've got to come down 875 millimeters from the top, and that's where it's got to come in. So I've already measured those up, no need to measure them again. I've got my little piece of timber here as well, and I'll just line it up on those marks, 875, and I'll clamp it down. Clamp down one side, grab another clamp, okay, so it's not tight at the moment because now I've got to just knock it all into place. Okay, one other thing I'll grab is my big square, and make sure it's square, which it is. Beautiful. So now tighten these down so they don't move. There we go. Lines there, nice and square. Grab some screws. And I'll just butt it up to here. That way it's not going to slide on me. Make sure the edge banding is with the edge banding. And drive in a screw. And there it is. Next step in the process is I'm going to put the drawer fronts on the drawers. You saw the last video where I put these drawers together. The reason I'm putting on a drawer front is I want to cover up these pocket holes. The ones at the back you won't see. So what I've got to do is make sure this is in the right spot. So I've got my little square set to 10 mil, because that's how much I've allowed. And all I do is make sure that it's 10mm on both sides. Which it is. And a couple of spring clamps holds it all together. Now what I'm going to do is drill some holes in here. So let me set up the camera so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, this is the inside of the drawer. Now I made myself another little jig. All it is two holes. Two holes. When I place that into the corner, it's exactly where I want those holes to go. So all I've got to do now is set up the drill. Here it is here. Move it to the other side. Just make these holes a little deeper. Putting a can of zinc in there. Don't need that anymore. Now just before I screw the whole thing together, I'm just going to make one more last check to make sure that it's exactly 10mm, nothing's moved and nothing has. Beautiful. Still flush at the back. Perfect. Drive the screws home. Okay, first thing I've got is I've got a couple of spacers here, and all they do is just sit on here. They're 3mm, and they just take the drawer 3mm from the bottom, because that's the reveal that I want. Now I grab the drawer. And pop it in. So that's sitting 3mm. Okay, so what I've got to do now is just bring it out a little bit so I can bring these drawer slides out. So there we go. First drawer slide is out. And on this side, just slide that out a little bit further so I can get to them. And if you can see, there's a hole just here, and that's where I'll drill my first hole. And one on the other side. And it's just a matter of taking it out a little bit further so I can get to the next screw hole. Now I'll just take these spacers out. Because they're not needed anymore. Take the drawer out so I can get to the back hole. There we go, all the screws are in. Now just pop the drawer back in. There we go, once I square the cabinet up, there it is. So now, I work my way up to all the drawer slides. Okay, the next drawer is ready to go in. More jigs. Okay, these are spaced so that I've got a certain gap between these drawers. They just fit in here on top, like so, and the drawer just sits on top. Drawer sits on top, so now I know the gap in here is what I need it to be. The customer didn't want any hardware on the outside, they just wanted a gap in between the drawers so that you can put your hand in and pull it out. So to that end, I put those two pieces in there, those two jigs in there, that sits on top. I know it's exactly where it needs to be. Just go ahead and now screw the thing together like the last one. Pull it out a little bit so I can get to those drawer slides. Now these jigs can come out. They'll serve their purpose for this one. And in goes the drawer. And now I just work my way up. And there you have it. That's how I put together one of these carcasses with all the drawers. She's a little bit wobbly at the moment because there's nothing holding it at the top. When I install them, there's going to be a shelf for going across the top, which I'll screw them into, and that'll make it nice and solid. But all the drawers are in. Just got one more of these to do, then I can start on the shoe rack that I'm going to be making. And that'll be my next video. I'll show you how I put together that shoe rack. So if you liked what you saw on this video, please like and subscribe. Let people see it, show it to your friends, relatives, whoever. Let them see what I'm up to. And I'll catch you all on the next one. Bye for now.